Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy and I help people with their breakups. And today I got a really interesting topic that actually comes up all the time. I had four really good live coaching sessions last week that were memorable. And we went a little bit over the time, which I usually do. And one of the coaching sessions, I usually actually send some notes about within 48 hours, some notes about our coaching session, some thoughts, some ideas, some helpful things. And I have a really good memory. And so I just kind of go back over things and I go, yeah, this wasn't your fault, possibly, or this or that, and kind of graze back over it. And a lot of people enjoy those follow up notes that actually bubble up some other thoughts. And so I had sent some detailed notes from a coaching session I had. And the coaching session that we had was excellent. And the follow up notes, he said, "Thank you so much for over delivering and going out of your way. I really, really appreciate it, and I'd recommend you." He goes on and on, which I appreciated. Any praise is good praise in my book, and I appreciate thank yous. And then he went, I know you already answered this. I know that we talked about a lot in the live coaching session, but he goes, I just want to ask you one thing, Mac. Do you really think she'll come back, or will she really come back? And this is one of those things, you talk for an hour and a half, you talk for 2 hours with someone, and you get really deep. And if you've been in a coaching session with me before, you know that I go a little bit deeper than just your relationship. I'll ask other questions. We could talk about family, because your pain in your breakup has a lot to do with your outside lifestyle and your other areas of your life, such as your job, your family, your friends, finances. And so we need to talk about some of those things sometimes and really find out what's creating this huge attachment to your ex and what's going on. So we unpack quite a bit in the live coaching. And we get to the end, and it's like my final question. Mary knows this was this useful or helpful for you? And 100% of the time people say yes, and they say thank you, and they say that. And then the next day, about 40 or 50% were like, I know you, I love your approach. Can you just tell me though, do you really think my ex will come back? Okay. So the reason I'm laughing about this is, what's up, Tommy? The reason I'm laughing about this is, this individual that we had a long coaching session with, we went into all these different things, and the relationship long-term for this guy wasn't ideal, right? They had a really good, off and on thing, and it was highly passionate and whatnot. It wasn't ideal. So even if they got back together, what my point was, I want you to find this out for yourself, but literally, even if you do get back together, I'm not sure that it's going to last. And that's beyond the number one thing you can get into is accepting the breakup, which is really difficult if you weren't happy with it on your terms, right? But on the flip side, really unpacking and go, wait a minute, even if we were to get back together, we still have this problem. We still have that problem. We still have the problem that she's overly sensitive, or the problem that we work together and we don't see eye to eye. Whatever it is, just because you got back together because you're lonely or you're missing someone doesn't mean it's going to get rid of the long-term effects of probably breaking up again. And so when this individual asked me that in the email, saying, thanks for everything, that was a great coaching session, we did, you did so much, but hey, just tell me honestly, do you really think she's going to come back? Right? After all that unpacking of different things, different issues, different parts of your life, and then it came to that again. And so I want to talk about this now as, what are the odds my ex will come back? Because that's what you're really asking me. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a psychic, and I'm intuitive, I believe. I'm empathetic. I'm compassionate, and I read people well. But I wouldn't say I can tell if if you tell me is your ex going to come back, I could say, well, it's probably more likely if you do no contact at this point, but it's not guaranteed, right? Because there is still free will involved, and your ex could be, at a job, and some guy walks in the door, and out of nowhere, they meet eyes. All this stuff's possible. There's so many possibilities. And when you get wrapped up into how do I create the perfect situation to get my ex back, you're trying too hard. You're trying too hard, and it's unattractive. The best way to be is, I accept the breakup. I understand why we broke up. I'm hurting. I'm healing, whatever. Walk away with your head up high with some pride, right? And then get back in, get back into the gym, get into some self-improvement books, work on your career, work on all these things. And then if that person begins to miss you, which is a possibility, and the odds are different for every individual case. So when you ask me that question, I go, well, I can give a 50 or 70% or an 80%. I'm pulling this out of, sheer thought process, but you can go to someone else and say, oh, if you do this, this, and this, they'll come back. None of it's 100% true. Looking for guarantees, don't come to me. What I want to do is I want to put you back on deck that you're like, wait a minute, I am an individual that has a lot more to offer. This fucking thing doesn't define me, right? And then the other question usually is, so there are times where I'm like, in this particular case, there is a good chance that she'll come back or he'll come back, but you still have the problem. You still have the probability of breaking up again because they're coming back to you out of pity, or they're coming back to this. And the reality is, if you broke up for a reason. And if you're going to get back together and stay together, then you probably both need to work on some things. And you as an individual, if you're highly attached after the breakup, there's something there that you as an individual need to work on before you can be in a healthier relationship. I think a lot of people would agree with that. But people, they're so hung up on the idea if they're going to come back. And then the next question, how will they come back? Well, I don't know. It could be a variety of ways. So, someone goes out dating. This happens a lot. They go out dating. They realize a woman dates 3 new guys. She ends up having a really bad experience with the last guy. I've heard of this happening where the guy got physical or verbally abused her, which is horrible. And then she immediately will call her ex, who she's secure with, who she was with for 3 or 4 years, feels safe with, and runs to him in the moment. And then the guy's going like, are we back together? Well, she still isn't highly attracted to you long term. It's more about being secure in the moment. And people don't realize how much things are moment to moment, right? How long will it take for them to come back? Again, if you start to try to put a 30-day, 60-day thing on this of when they'll come back, you can set up goals for yourself. Like, I'm going to go 30 straight days to the gym, or I'm going to go 30 straight days to no contact. But that's just a finish line. That doesn't mean that it's some covert contract that you're going to get something directly back in 30 days. Let go of the fact of how long it will take. Oh, I've been 2 months and they still haven't come back. Well, the fact that you're waiting is putting you in a bad position if they ever did call you back. What should I say if they come back? Good question. How about this? Instead of thinking about that, go, you know what? I'm just concentrating. If they reach out to me or something goes down, then I'll deal with it when it comes. And right now I'm growing, I'm doing well. And hopefully when that time comes, if you're in a really good place, you're neutral, you don't have high expectations, and you're going, yeah, I'm down to go out. Yeah, this would be cool. Oh, it's good to hear from you. You're kind of like brushing up on some things. But if you're sitting there going, when will they come back? And they call you back and you go nuts and you're getting butterflies in your stomach, you're moving around, it's probably not going to work out. What if? Does this go on in your head in the break? What if I did this? What if I did that? What if she came back? What if she did this? Stop it. Fucking stop it. I've had that happen before. Oh, what if I would have done this? I always used to be in the past. What if I done this? Shit, man. What if you did and it still didn't work? If I would have done this, then it would have. Well, what if you would have and it still didn't work? Is that possible? Yeah. Do you think they miss me? Most cases, if you were together in a fairly good relationship, you loved each other, yes, they do. What level? I don't know. Every day, every hour? Probably not. Right? Does no contact really work? Yes, it does. Does it work 100% of the time? No, everything's nuanced. Everything's a little bit different. And you sitting there saying, I want to guarantee that this works, is just setting yourself up for disaster. It's extremely needy. You do no contact for yourself. And if your ex comes back, it's a bonus. Did it work for you? People ask me all this time, well, did it work for you? You know what? Every time I've broken up and I didn't, the times that I've had my breakups before, YouTube wasn't as blown up with all this information, right? I did no contact, but you know what I did it for? My fucking pride. Because I was like, I don't want to go back and, revisit this thing and explain things. We've already explained everything to each other. So I didn't go into it thinking that You hear the loudspeaker? They sell fruit in the truck sometimes with a loudspeaker. I didn't go into the no contact going, oh yeah, I'm gonna get her back. No, I went back like I need some time to heal. I'm not gonna be the one knocking at the door begging someone to get back together. That was one thing I wasn't gonna do. And I needed to assess things. It's loud, isn't that? Jeez. All right, let's get into the questions. And you guys can answer these yourself. Vanessa, VVS, how are you? It's 11:09 a.m. here. Hello, Crystal. Mary. Tommy, how you doing, bud? I already said hello. Hope you're well. TW. Get the same question. Laugh out loud. We get the same question, coach. It's crazy, huh? Like, what are the odds? And I mean, that's basically, if I say, what are the odds of your ex coming back? It'd be really interesting. We went to Vegas and you had some kind of special, what they do for ball games, right? Like basketball, football, and they take everything into account and they go, oh, this is the odds. Kind of like after a live coaching session, I could probably assess everything and I go, oh yeah, this would probably be the odds, but it still doesn't guarantee anything. So you sitting around going, oh, if I do this, this, and this, it'll work. That's not a good way to be, because that sets you up for a booby trap of, ground zero all over again. I was just laughing thinking that, Crystal, that you do. Okay. Thank you for the like. I appreciate it. BRB. I don't know. Vanessa, I'm about to drive to the store. I'll be back. Love you. Well, thanks for the heads up. Laugh out loud. Crystal ball in the room. KKK. Love you. Bye. Okay. Oh shit. Why do I never get notifications for this? I almost missed it. You know what? Some people have told me before that they don't, that YouTube's not giving the proper notifications or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but if you ring the bell, it should be giving you a notification. It's loud as hell. That's for selling fruit out of a truck. In my view, if he's the right person, then someone can't ever really leave in the right connection. They're always with you, and focusing on myself and choosing space allows it even more. Judy Jack's getting deep early on. Judy Jack, I think you're kind of right. I need to pull back from someone. His approaches are just too intense for me. Well, if you feel like something's too intense, what else is the other option, right? Really interesting book is Mating in Captivity by Esther Pearl. And one of the foundation things, it's a lot about long-term relationships, marriages going stale and monotonous. And one of the biggest things about that that book, Mating in Captivity, what a great title, by the way, is getting space. Just people being around each other too much and just getting sick of each other and getting annoyed and just killing all sexual attraction because it's so monotonous, and people having hobbies and outside things. It's one of the foundations of the book. And people love each other. People love each other. They're connected. And it's like, I'm one of those people. I always go to the same restaurant, order the same food until it gets really old. All of a sudden someone will say, where have you been, Mac? I'll just go, well, I just got that too many times and I can't order that for a little while now, because I've ordered it for 2 months straight for breakfast or something like that, especially breakfast. I'll get the same breakfast, regularly, and then I'll just all of a sudden say I can't do it. And I think this happens when you're in relationships and it's so predictable. Juan 258, San Jose's finest, San Jose. San Hoser. Hey, Coach Mac, I just got home and checked out the video. I feel much better because of the video. Thank you. Well, thank you, bud. That was deep, and you shared a lot, bud. And you got two things you're working on. You're 23 years old. You got alcohol, but you're addressing it. You're saying I'm an alcoholic. To even step up to the plate at 23 years old, share that with an audience on YouTube, and say I'm working on that right now is fucking huge. I'm impressed by it. And I wish you nothing but the best, but you realizing this early on in life is impressive. And the fact that some of the things you shared about your breakup, you're just going to learn from that. If you go through a bad breakup at 22, 23, my worst breakup was about 27, 28, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was just shocked by the feelings and emotions that came up. That's why I'm able to do this now, because I remember thinking, what the fuck is this? I just talked to someone last week, Tommy, who's on now, and being 20, Tommy, or 27 or 28, so about the same age. Same thing that you said. It's like, what the fuck happened here? I was the same way. I'd hooked up. I'd had a girlfriend or two before. things like that. I had some breakups, but then the bad breakup of a 5-year relationship, that was nothing nice, and it was nothing I've ever experienced. If you go through that in your early 20s, get it out of the way early, because what you're going to do is, if it's traumatic, it's anxiety based, if you're smart, you come to my channel, you ask for a coaching session, you unpack things, and you start improving. It's not that you'll never break up again. It's not that you'll never hurt again, but you'll get it. And you'll also be much more empathetic helping other people, which will help you heal. Right. And so it's a learning process that's better done early, because I think it's more difficult for people to deal with as you get older. Just got home, checked it out. Well, I appreciate you telling me that, Juan. I really do. Trying to glue together a broken glass vase isn't worth the bloody hands it will give you. Ooh. Did you come up with that, or did you get that off of a book or something? I like that. G money. Folks, I'm actually probably going next week. I'll have a different time frame. I'll do the live streams, but I'm visiting the folks. I'll be going back to Cali, as the great Biggie once said. I'm going back to Cali. Or remember the LL Cool J song? The LL Cool J song was a good Cali song. All right, let me put this back up. We got some people on deck. Now we got 15. Thanks for the likes, folks. I really appreciate it. 2 out of 15 is decent. Let's see here. No contact is really just letting go of the outcome, quit outcome thinking. Simply said, simply put, but actually extremely true. And it's difficult. I get that it's difficult. But that's why you got to sift through the reason, actually, and really give yourself more and more time to realize it. I think waiting a few months to back together is the best. Gives more time to improve and fix the initial problems. You're right. You're right, Tommy. I agree with that for the most part. G Money has some gems. Yes, always good to let go of the outcome. I'd say after a couple of months of no contact, you have to do your best to accept that it's dead and gone. And like Max says, if they come back, it's a bonus. That's the way you got to look at it, man. Because sitting around wishing, hoping, it's needy, and if you're going to get someone back in that fashion, do you want to get someone back with pity? And I think a lot of people think that's a good method, and they don't realize they're doing it. And if they could put a video camera on themselves when they're on the phone or they're talking to individuals and they're being a bit pitiful and victimhood, they probably go, holy shit, I didn't even know I talked that way. So the best way to be for them to be like, wow, I wonder what Mac's up to. I haven't seen him in a long time. Oh shit, I came across this photo or this or that. You want them wondering, where's this guy been? Or where's this girl been? And then when they call you up, it's a little bit of a surprise, and you're just kind of like, yeah, I've been good. I've been doing my thing. Even if you're not outstanding, you're not doing great, you still are in the driver's seat based on the fact that you weren't chasing them. You were able to move forward. Is it a bonus if your ex comes back, or is it a bonus when you find someone better who makes an effort and doesn't quit on the relationship? Well, that's a win-win in my book. See, that's the thing. Good point, Tommy. I get where you're coming from, but I would say this. If you accept the breakup and you fully go into no contact, head high, start creating some compelling goals, some kind of vision for the future, something that you're excited about, whatever it may be. You don't have to be a fucking millionaire. You could be a, jiu-jitsu trainer. Someone started doing that was in a live coaching session with me. He's military. He loves jiu-jitsu, started doing training. We just talked about some different things he really liked to do. And just recently he sent me a message. He goes, oh, I just got this such and such designation. I moved out of my house. And what he did from the coaching session, it took a few months, but he let go of the breakup. And then he channeled more energy into his goals and stuff. And that's the ideal thing to do. Some people, it's difficult. But when you do that, you become more attractive by default, right? And then you open yourself up to meet someone better because you're more attractive, you're more uppity, you're walking around with your head high, you're feeling good. And then if that ex comes back, like I said, it's not just a bonus. It's like, well, now I got the option here. I'm in the driver's seat. Yeah, maybe I'll go out with you, but just a heads up, I'm dating someone else that I'm really into. So either way, you win if you accept it and you embrace it. But most likely, if you broke up, odds are the relationship wasn't a long-term relationship. There were some issues in the relationship that aren't going to go away. They keep bubbling up and you're not able to work on them. Rob, I almost missed this live. I didn't get a notification. What's up, Rob, Tommy? It's a bonus if they come back because now you're in the driver's seat and your ego can get a boost by deciding whatever you want. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Sheldon Poltras, girls shouldn't be anyone's main priority. Focus on yourself, boys. That's simply put. Yeah, if it's your main priority, I agree. It's highly unattractive too, right? King Cato. I think of Cato. It's not Cato. Is it Cato? If I change my number during no contact, do I break it to give it to her? Going on like 2 months. No, you're all in. Go all in. That would be weak to go, oh, I changed my number and no contact. Just want to make sure you got my number. I stumbled upon some contradiction from How to 3% Man and Rational Male. One says that the female should bring up the relationship, and the other says the male should do it respectively. Well, what resonates with you? Who are you as a person? Don't change your morals and values. So if you agree with one of those, go with it. And for me personally, and I never planned this by reading a book. This is just a way, like I said, watching basically your parents, your step parents, your aunt and uncle, your grandparents, whoever raised you. That's a relationship model you don't even know you're following, right? And so there's some good parts and some bad parts. And mine was I would always let the female bring up the relationship. I never was like, oh, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. I mean, literally, I don't even know when people do like anniversary dates for girlfriend, boyfriend, people would do like, oh, we have our 1 month or our 6 month. I used to be like, what? I don't even know what day it was. I don't think there's ever been a time where I went on bended knee or anything like that to be your boyfriend or girlfriend or make a big deal out of it. So for me, my makeup and who I am, I would say without planning it, the female's always brought up the relationship to me. And I think that's a better situation to be in. It doesn't necessarily mean you don't care, but you're not anxious, which is a good word, right? And the other says males should do it respectfully. So I'm guessing that who said what, Juan? Because I'm not sure. I know the Rational Male. I've read 3% Man a long time ago once, or I went back over it in a video too. So a lot of people know it better than I do. Rational Male a couple of times. Rational Male I like better, just personally, the information in it. But both of them can provide information. What are the guys that are on the live stream or women? What do you guys think's better? One says the female should bring up the relationship, and the other says the male should do it respectfully. You're talking about this, Juan. You're talking about this in relation to becoming official, right? Like the beginning of being boyfriend, girlfriend. What are the odds they will come back if they have done this a few times before? Actually, if you've broken up and gotten back together numerous times, then that's a playbook you're running. And I would say it's more likely that it happens again because both of you or one of you goes, well, when we break up, we usually get back together. So I would say that it's more likely. I would say that if you've been together 5, 6 years, 7 years long-term and you never broke up, you haven't had a lot of friction and you break up, it's a little bit more real. I would say if you've had one breakup in 5 years and you got back together after a month, and then 2 or 3 years later you got broken up again, then it's less likely. But if you some of these couples that are together for 1 year or 2 years and they have a lot of drama, then it's just a way that they get each other's attention. So multiple breakups over petty things, there's probably a higher rate of them getting back together, in my opinion. Neither Corey Wayne nor Rollo Tomasi have all the answers. At the end of the day, they're trying to sell books. What I would say to that, G Money, is yes, you're right. I think that I really like the Rational Male. I just like the way it's written. It's fun. It's a fun read. It's a fun audiobook. The concepts, like in 3% Man, aren't groundbreaking, but however you consume content that might help you is up to you. And so some people find it really good. But some of the material is good, and some of it, if you've never come across it, like I have so many audiobooks, so much stuff on psychology. Sometimes I just assume everyone knows certain things, and they'll be like, I've never even heard of, no contact before. I've never even heard of, and you guys sometimes with your words like limerence, hypergamy, I didn't know what that was, and now we talk about it. These are words that are used for simpler terms, right? Narcissism. If they've done that, no contact. So right, G Money. Corey Wayne has some answers. Depends on the situation. Rob's a big Corey Wayne fan. I like Corey Wayne. I have respect for him. I think he does good work overall. I definitely, place him in the higher echelons of the other coaches. I think he's more of a life coach, even though he gives a lot of dating advice because he does things about business and stuff. Wow, I'm way fucking behind here, huh? This is good, folks. Thanks. I'll do my best to catch up here. Oh, man. Okay, so there we go. I'll try to get through this. Excellent topic. Well said. Really the essence of how I view a no contact and improving yourself. And said, thanks, Matt. I appreciate your take, bud. I would say Rollo Tomasi has incredible insight. I really like him. I like him. I like his stuff. Yeah, props, dude. Thanks for the sharing your story with Mac. Oh, Juan, that was an excellent story. Yeah, I really appreciate that, Juan. And sharing stuff like that's only going to help you, bud. You're being a little bit vulnerable in the moment. That's good for you, man. You guys are always hooking me up with new people to Google or new books to read. And, that's when you're really comfortable with your channel or your work, is when you can recommend other people and you don't feel threatened. It's like I'm at a point now where I feel like I'm really good at my breakup coaching. And if I recommend someone else and you like them, I've had other people go, oh, I'm sorry, I went to other live streams, or I went to someone really liked The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and they started following Mark Manson quite a bit. They're like, I've actually followed him a lot more than you now. I'm like, that's fine. It's all good. It's all good. CW always mentions the girl, bring it up. I can see the differences in the scenarios. Yeah, I mean, Rob, I think you're right. It could be just depending on the situation. I think it's depending on the situation and who you are. Okay. And that's and that goes with the kind of person you are. In my particular case, over my lifetime, it's always been the woman that brought it up, and I'm quite comfortable with that. I don't think I've been accused of being a romantic very many times. I can see the difference in the scenarios. Laugh my ass off. Yeah, Tommy, you get what I was saying earlier. I know. Yeah, I've never felt these emotions before. I was when we talked in the live coaching, I was just like, dude, I totally get it, and that's why I'm able to help people, because I'm like, I remember just like, what the fuck's wrong with me? This mouse wheel, I can't stop thinking about this shit. And I'll tell you this, you'll get through it. You'll get through the other side of the tunnel, and you have a ton of empathy for other people when they're in a breakup. You'll feel better about it, and you'll realize you can get through shit like this. And I know when I got through the other side of the tunnel, it took a bit, it took a while. But I mean, when you're stuck in there, man, you feel like you ain't going to see daylight for a while. I get it. Not all of our breakups are the same, but I get the emotions. Totally get that. That's why I'm able to help you. Sure does have an insight. I enjoyed it way more than I thought. Oh, on Matt, yeah, you liked Rational Male. It's definitely not politically correct, but he does it in a way where he's got a master's in psychology. He's well read, so he's not just throwing shit out there. It's backed up. My girlfriend broke up with me twice. Darth Slasher. Great name, Darth. My girlfriend broke up with me twice. I took her back after she begged me to take her back. She dumped me again in August. I feel like a fool. Well, don't feel like a fool. I mean, a lot of people would take their ex-girlfriend back if they begged them back, right? For women, men are much more likely to take a woman back out of pity or begging than women are of men begging. That's just how it is. You tried it. You broke up. You tried it again. Now 3 strikes, you're out. I mean, now it's become a pattern. Like, you've been fooled once, you've been fooled twice, fooled 3 times. Come on, man. Don't feel like a fool. Learn from it. That's all. Sap, homie. Good rendition of Biggie. Oh, I'm horrible at singing that stuff. That's funny. I was just talking to my nephew. I'm going back to California, Adonis, actually, Friday. I won't be in the Bay Area, though. I'll be in an area called Chico, California, where they have it. My parents live up by there. Little college town. It's actually a really fun town. And I was telling D'Angelo Russell, the new warrior. He looks like O-Dog from Menace to Society. If you guys know that movie, that's an old one. First time I have talked about my alcoholism and breakup. Well, good. I'm glad you had a platform to do it. And I think it's kind of good that you're putting yourself out there, but then you don't have to put, your picture up and all these other things. And I'm here for you if you need help in the future, but I meant that. You're Bay Area people, right? And also the way you wrote your story and stuff, it sounds like you're really working on yourself, bud. And he threw in, if you guys haven't seen his story yet, because I just posted, I think yesterday, I love that he's like, I've been working on myself. I've been doing archery, hiking, this and that. But you threw in archery, that's fucking interesting. Someone was just like, fuck, what have you been doing with archery? Fucking that's some Renaissance man shit, dude. Good for you. People like Rollo and Corey Wayne only have a job because fathers in society in general has done such a horrible job raising men, myself included in that. Could be. I mean, that's a broad statement. Yeah. There's so many intricate parts. You know what's really interesting, G Money? I respect your opinion. I don't always agree because I don't always agree with everyone and anyone. But I really like the way you worded things. But what I would add to that, G Money, what I've learned in doing this and talking to so many different people and living abroad and meeting a lot of different people, that people could have. I always thought that you were born with certain characteristics. And so that's just who you were. But I think that just a little change in the road or the path in your life experience, even if you have really good parents that bring you up well and do all the right things, if Johnny goes to school and meets Jimmy, whose brother is a crackhead, and they're both 12 years old, and they go hang out with the brother who's a crackhead, and they somehow get the other kid hooked on crack. This is the kind of shit that happens. So even sometimes parents that do it all right, there still can be a fork in the road, life experience wise, early on that can fuck things up. And our life experiences, we're a slave to our past life experiences because that's how we run playbooks. Oh, wait, let me think. Yep, that happened to me before, so this is what's going to happen next. And really, a lot of times we're wrong. Red Rockwell, double R. Remember the show Rock with the guy from Baltimore, the black guy with the bald head? I just broke up from a 3-year relationship with my girlfriend. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, bud. I had to drop her because she had all these yelling bouts with me. I just wasn't on it. We may not be together, but she will respect me. Well, you have your reasons. You're very clear on why you broke up. That's a good start to move forward. The worst part to be is when you break up and you're like, I don't know what happened. True in my case too, G Money. Rollo insight on the social dynamics blew my mind. It makes a lot of sense. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think it's helpful. I think it's useful. You're awesome, and your story will help others. Wish you all the best. Mac is awesome. Thank you. But that's what they are doing, charging you insane prices to tell you what our dads should have taught us. Okay. Money, are you in this line of work too? You're pretty insightful. I've told them before, you could be doing it, G Money. Little martial arts background too. I think the best thing to do after a breakup is no contact, as well as being courageous. Courageous, good word. Ask random girls for their number. Be ballsy, boys. You'll find happiness within your own self-confidence. It's a good approach. It might take you some time to work up the courage, but yeah, okay, I'm with you. I always say go on bad dates because everyone's, oh, the date was horrible. Accept that it was a bad date, but at least you put yourself out there, right? At least you got a story to tell your buds. You know what I mean? Sheldon, have you been on before? I don't remember seeing you, bud. Welcome. Well, you always have to give your girl time to reset and stop being mad, and you have to give yourself the same type of time. Okay, I'll buy that watch. Coach, I guess you help people pivot into something new and give them something else to focus on instead of the breakup. I try, but every coaching session is a little bit different based on the individual. And so I ask a lot of questions and then see where we go with things. But I think gaining perspective on the whole playing field and coming to the realization that your life's more than the breakup would be at the core of where we want to end up. I can't help but having hope they'll change. How do I stop it? Alexander Flores. Could you elaborate? Maybe send your story into writemac.com because I don't have enough. I don't have enough information to really give you advice on that. I think okay. The shitty thing about accepting the breakup or moving on is that it happens subconsciously. It would be better if it was on off. Well, of course, Tommy, I'm with you, bud. The shitty thing about accepting the breakup and moving on is that that it happens subconsciously. It would be better if it was an on-off switch. I used to say, I wish I had amnesia. That's a horrible thing to say. I was like, I just wish I could forget. That's what Mac did for me. Got me thinking about getting a big goal purpose. Well, I take that as a compliment coming from you, G Money. Thank you, bud. And I hope you're working towards that. You good people. It's been 5+ months of no contact. Is it okay to follow her on social media? What's your intentions of following her on social media, and why would you do that? What's the reason? Dang, a lot of people on deck today. I'm having a hard time keeping up with the chat. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's like everyone always goes, oh, you should get more people on. I'm like, well, when we get too many people, it's hard to talk. Take what resonates and leave the rest. That's breaking up. A lot of this stuff that's online and stuff like that, it's different. You can catch fish with different lures. You can catch fish with different bait, so go with what works for you and stop looking for the holy grail of information. And I think that if you go out of character and, suddenly you want to be masculine, you show up with a fucking leather vest on and a bunch of tattoos and a fucking mohawk, and you're not that kind of person, well, it's not going to probably work for you. Everyone goes, oh, well, I got to do this. Be honest with your approach, dude. I really like in The Rational Male, he goes, have a look or have a style that's genuine to you. If you're a surfer, if you're a skater, if you're a rocker, whatever that would be, or a heavy metal person, there's a market for every kind of guy out there, but it's better to have some kind of style, right? Or some kind of thing that you follow. I've seen guys bring up the let's be girlfriend, boyfriend within a few days of meeting. Sometimes it works, but other times it seems rather based on beta tendencies. I would find that one beta, and I don't usually use that word. Women, when they get in their 30s that talk to me, tend to do that more often because they feel like their biological clock's ticking and they want to get married, and they're looking to they want to be ensured that someone wants a long-term relationship as they get older. So they put that on the table early. But I think anytime someone brings that up early that has high confidence and a lot of self-esteem, it turns them off that someone's trying to go 0 to 100 in a relationship. I think people that have a lot of confidence in themselves want to get to know each other and don't want to press things. Because to me, it's not marriage, but once it's your girlfriend, that's like going from here to here. It's not just like a little step. You're official. And that's a reflection of you that you're representing out there. That's true if dad is a beta, but then that is what is installed into us. I learned that from Rolla. Facts. Red Rockwell, you didn't read it 10 or 15 times? No, I didn't. I understand the reason for reading it 10 or 15 times, so I'm not saying that's not true. How to Be 3% Man says women to bring up Rational Male says that men to drive it. I would, just for me personally, I like when the women bring it up. Saying that, I like Rollo, and I don't remember his specific meanings for it, but a few days is way too soon. Absolutely, Tommy. For me, if a woman starts bringing it up, I'm like, whoa, we're done. Like, what's this? Thumbs up, idiot. No. When a guy brings it up the next level, subject himself, it is so much more gratifying. Okay, Judy Jack. I'm not going to say you're wrong or right. I think this is an opinion-based question. I'll go, and like I said, it's based on who you are as a person and how you act, I'll go one step further. I would say, Judy Jack, too, it depends on the individual. So, some women, they might be waiting for it. I'll go one step further. Take what is based on what is proven. Work most times based on psychological study. Go with those methods. Okay, that's deep. Alexandra. He took me for granted, so I broke it off. It felt as if that's what he wanted, so I did it. Should be the one to come back, even though I'm the one who broke it off. This is a big topic that comes up, that people are always saying that their ex or the partner took them for granted, that they're which means to me that you're not appreciated enough. And I need an Alexandra, I would suggest that you go to my website and send your story in, and I can give you my full take. Um, I'm interested in digging a little deeper on this for my book because this comes up a lot, getting taken for granted. And I don't, in my own relationships, I've always felt like I'm a good partner. I'm not perfect. I'm not an angel. But I haven't felt like someone took me for granted. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. No, and this comes up quite a bit. I mean, what's the answer to that? By breaking up, they're gonna realize that they appreciate you more, possibly. I mean, it's you're going into a covert contract, actually. Do they know you broke up with them for that reason? Are you very clear about that? That's what you'd want to do. Can you give me the videos or part of the book where Rollo says that? I think Corey Wayne said that when you get in a relationship, it should already feel like one. Good point, Tommy. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah, it's like you hit the ground running. It's like yeah, it's seamless. I would agree with that for myself. It doesn't go like, oh, now we're together. Now I'm uncomfortable. It's kind of like, oh yeah, just kind of like grazed into it. Yeah. I disagree. Lots of people have terrible, weak fathers and end up nothing like them. My point is just, I don't know where Corey Wayne gets off charging $1,000 to tell you not to chase women. Well, I know it's an outlandish amount of money, but at the end of the day, you know why he charges it? Because people pay him that. So I wouldn't be able to pay him that much. And so you just go, all right. But there are people out there that want the best, that have a lot of money, and there's a market for it, and they'll pay him and they'll take his advice verbatim so seriously because they paid that money. I don't entirely agree with that approach, but that said, I've seen it work before. I lead him to water, and if he wants to drink, then he will. Meaning I give him all the go-ahead signs, and if he brings up the relationship status direction, that's better for me. Okay, so that's what it's interesting. Someone's okay, dude, you're just gonna what are we doing here? I'm sorry, I lost my place here, folks. Oh shit. God damn, this is we got ourselves a little tribe rolling out here, huh? Might actually need a moderator here. Mhm. Uh, how far behind is Mac on the street? I believe Corey Wayne has a big line of clients, but just speaks to how lost people are with what should be simple things. Sheesh, how far behind is Mac on the stream? Sorry. I believe no alphas are paying the $1,000. I suspect it's beta. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing, Rob G. There's a lot of people that are highly wealthy, dude. The amount of billionaires and millionaires, they say that 15% of the world are millionaires. I think I read somewhere. That's a lot. There's some people out there that just throw money around, and so there's a market for that. We're blowing up the chat with Corey Wayne. That's all right, bud. I would let whoever knows. Good point, Rob. I agree. Incels are paying 1,000 for dating advice and still not getting the P. Well, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Sick. My clients were in Chico doing the cleanup in Chico. I've been there tons this last summer. Oh, really? Yeah, my parents live up there. I like that town. It's a cool college town, man. It's nice. So that's where I'll be for the 2 weeks. I don't go all the way back to the Bay Area because it's just traffic and hard to get around. But I'll be flying into SFO. I think that speaks volumes. A woman is feeling you. She should definitely bring it up. She's going to definitely want to be exclusive. Red, I agree. I wouldn't say they're incels, but most incels are not open to even learning the basics or have mental issues. Menace to Society. Chico has hot women. You're golden. Right on, bud. You remember that movie, Menace to Society? That was a great movie. You want a cheeseburger? When he's in the detectives sitting there asking me, you know, you're done gone and fucked up now, right? He's like, you know, you're gone and fucked up. I've encountered some incels. They're mostly fairly lost in how they understand relationships or how to properly operate in one. All I've seen, we're not open to the truth of what works. No contact. Does no contact work on a short-term relationship? Short answer, yes. She is scared of commitment, but I put no pressure. Now she wants to be friends, but I said, no, let me know if you change your mind. Well, the fact that you threw in there, well, let me know if you change your mind, is that, just leave it, just go, okay, and then go no contact. I like Mac's content delivery because he's relatable and doesn't come across as chauvinistic. His delivery is really genuine and comes from a true place of understanding our individual journey. Well, thanks. That was pretty deep. I appreciate that. Do incels admit to being incels? Is that like imbecile? Is that what you guys are saying? Tommy Willie's mostly never, only the brave do. It's like how narcissists never admits they are not. Well, narcissists will never think they're a narcissist, right? I enjoy getting turned down by women because at least they know I had the guts to ask for a piece. Well, good for you, Nico. The moment an incel admits he's an incel is perhaps the moment he's willing to change and become better, something better. Well, no contact depends on the connection the two shared. He took me for granted, so I broke it off. It felt like that's what he wanted. Okay, so this is where it gets a little twisted, Alexandra. Send your story in. You broke it off because they took you for granted, but you're saying it felt like that's what he wanted. So what were you doing for yourself? Funny how we sort of judge the worth of a man by whether or not he can get snatched. How sad. Isaac Newton never smashed, and he did more than so many. I didn't know that about Isaac Newton. What did I just see recently that had his... There's a book that goes over Isaac Newton's laws that's new. Yeah, fuck. Is it Atomic Habits? There's a book that goes over, and it's pretty interesting, actually. You might know, G-Money, because you're pretty well-read yourself. I wonder which one that was a few months ago. No, I haven't been on before, but I just want to say I've seen a lot of your videos, and I seriously respect what you do. Well, right on, Sheldon. I appreciate that, bud. Thanks for being such a humble guy and helping people out. You're the man. Well, I appreciate that, dude. Thanks. Sounds like you're in the driver's seat. Yourself first, man. Can you help navigate the rest? Love yourself first, man. There's a posture. Okay, whatever. Is a song by 5 Seconds of Summer. Why is there not a word of female incels? What is this word incel? I got to ask now. What is this word? INCELS. I don't know. I keep reading it and I'm like, is it imbecile? What is that short? Is it short for that? I'm honest when I don't understand a word and I don't know what incels is. Quick question. Nick B. My ex swiped right on me on Tinder, and I can tell my Tinder goal that shows, do I swipe right too, or is that giving her validation? Should I hold back and not match and let her chase? That's an interesting question, Nick B. I don't know your situation or why you broke up, but what do you want from her? And you know her better than I do. So, what's Tinder? To hook up quickly? So, she might be setting you up to go, you swiped. I knew you would, ... I don't know if she's immature like that or what. Broke up 7 months ago, been no contact since, lifting, traveling, and talking up new hobbies like sailing. Ironically, when I deleted the last pics of us on the computer, she shows back up. It's not ironic, it's real. If you like her and you want to revisit things and you swipe back, just if she plays games or says something that you don't like, then you're moving forward still. Right? Don't get caught in that web. So if you can, thanks for the thumbs up. If you can react without worrying about her reaction, swipe back, and then, maybe it'll lead into you guys hooking up or getting together or going out, then fine. But if she says something like, ha, 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 you've been on Tinder, how long has this been? And it creates some kind of bullshit tension or some kind of joking, just get out of that real quick and pivot out. Alpha is such a lame term. I'm sorry. Nikola Tesla died a virgin. I guess that means he wasn't an alpha. Well, screw him, right? Tesla was a boss, right? That guy's genius. He's true genius. Yeah. There's some really interesting things on YouTube about Tesla. Some of the things he came up with. I mean, he was the first one to go, we don't need wires for electric. Did you watch that movie, G Money? I don't know what it's called, The Current, but it's about Edison and the other guy in the race for electricity, and they not the real Tesla's in it, but they talk about Tesla being a part of it. I thought that was a good movie recently. What about Rebound Relationship? The Gaming Sniper. What about it, Gaming Sniper 7? What's your question? Can you elaborate on a rebounding relationship? What's a good approach to tell someone to slow down or you need some space without them getting offended? I would be direct. Like, this needs to slow down, so don't take it personal. Tesla was smarter than Einstein. Well, that's debatable. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, when you talk about someone being smarter than someone else, in regards to what? Because intelligence and smarts, no one's, how about this? Tesla or Einstein might walk in a room and they couldn't put together a model car, right? Or it's like a friend of mine's a welder. He's a diesel mechanic. It's like really impressive, the stuff he can do, right? But I'm sure he couldn't, put something with physics together. So smart is relative to the field you're smart in. And really the best way to be as a human is a specialist. They talk about that in the book Mastery by Robert Greene. And he says most of nature are specialists, like eagles. They have really good vision, and that's what makes them eat. But humans are actually opportunists. But a human that's highly successful becomes a specialist. Judging the worth of a man by how often he smashes is disgusting. This touched a nerve for G Money. I know where you're coming from, though. This is popular society, right? This is where we're at with things. Where can I send my story? www.rightmag.com. Tesla was Big Tal. There's a few vids on that. Doesn't take away from his greatness, though. Okay, I didn't know you'd consider him. Was this is some biography or something? I have a book, one of Einstein's books. A friend gave me. I still haven't read it. Rob, Genghis Khan is considered alpha, but you just described alpha as emotionally centered. Men like Genghis Khan or Alexander. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't get overly caught up in the beta alpha thing. I don't meet people and go, oh, this guy's beta. But there's individuals that seem a lot more feminine to categorize people, because people have alpha and beta moments as individuals, women and men. Napoleon wasn't such a ladies' man, but taking over half of Europe is pretty damn alpha. He was one of those guys that was extremely short also, right? Which a lot of generals are. Most men who think they are alpha, it's funny, they have a lot of people ride motorbikes here, and there's a motorbike model that's really big. It's like a 300cc bike. And usually the people always driving them can't reach the floor. It's always short guys. It seems like I'm always laughing. They always get the bigger bikes. Like they can barely get off them. Maybe that's a generalization. It's just funny, something I notice. Most men who think they are alpha are not. I fully admit I'm not. Alpha lions are the type who are willing to go through their tribe when they take it over and slaughter all the cubs. Wow, that's deep, G Money. It's a good old school movie that I haven't seen in a long time. They used to show it in school, and it shows human behavior at its rawest. Is Lord of the Flies. Well, it was a book, right? Remember Lord of the Flies? That's a good point. This was break down the pseudo alpha, which is much more common. I would argue that those men exhibited alpha characteristics, but were not 100% alpha. I don't know if modern society, without living in caves and hunting and stuff, could be. Because I grew up like hunting and going out on 3-4 day trips, deer hunting, duck hunting. That's about as alpha as it gets, with blood in your hands and your gutting things and stuff like that. And we just don't do that in society as much. It's different. It's different. Will your ex come back after a rebound relationship? I got you didn't appreciate me spiel. Yeah, I've never gotten that before, that you didn't appreciate me. So it doesn't resonate, but it comes up a lot in relationships. Yeah. Seems to be a big issue for men and women. Actually, women, I think there's a lot of women when they get in long-term relationships that, not all, but create this situation where they're always do this, do that, or you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And guys get to a point where they're like, fuck, can I win? Is there anything I do good? This is when guys are married and they just get fed up. And that's when they really don't feel appreciated. What's good approach to tell someone to slow down or you need some space without them getting offended? Okay, you asked G Money. Almost everyone I've ever encountered that claims alpha were not. That's a good point. G Money, exactly. Most men who claim alpha are not. They are pseudo or want to be alpha with a handful of alpha traits and beta traits. I mean, me doing breakup coaching and talking to men and women, I'm sure some people think that some of my moves are beta, So if so, to each their own. I've been a teacher for years. That's not exactly a masculine thing for a lot of, you know what I mean? Almost everyone I've ever encountered claims that. Someone always going to get offended if someone is overstepping boundary with you. You have to be upfront with them about it, but that's just me. My ex-girlfriend stated I was too good for her. Is this her low self-esteem or excuse to break up with me? That's a good question, Darth Slasher. Usually if someone says you're too good for her, then that usually means a low self-esteem. That usually means that they either don't believe that they deserve someone like you, or they're doing something faulty or bad that they feel guilty about, or both. But if they were in a really bad relationship before, and people that are really sensitive in relationships because of past relationships, like if someone called them fat, for instance, and they're a bit overweight, and you find that their weight is just fine, but they can't get over the fact that some guy or some parent had always told them they were fat. If you just make one little comment about their appearance, they can lose it. But getting back to that statement, I was too good for her. That means that they either feel inferior or they feel guilty about something that they feel like they're doing wrong. When you're up front, you showcase confidence and boldness is attractive. Claiming that is like being a self-anointed hero. I don't know what that's imply. Being alpha is subjective. I don't think it's possible to hand every situation as an alpha. I agree with that, Tommy. I would agree with what Tommy said. This is coming from a military dude. Right. I would agree with that. Even the most masculine John Wayne type dudes, Clint Eastwood motherfuckers, they're going to have moments where they're, quote unquote beta. Right. I would say it is, if one is knowledgeable, a true alpha will be sensitive when it's required. Well, good point. There you go, bud. Agreed. Nico, as many men, they say are alpha. I immediately smell insecurity. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're overcompensating a lot of times, right? And a true alpha will only show it through his actions and not his claims. I wish I had all you guys in my back pocket, so guide me. Great live stream today, folks. It's like attachment styles. You can't force people into small boxes of person. I agree with that. The attachment style things, I think the boxes are too small for humans, for me. Just saying, oh, you could be one of 5 attachment styles. That's extremely limited. Do you know Don Shipley and all the fake Navy SEALs? Those fake SEALs are just like the self-professed alphas. I don't know John Shipley. I'm not familiar with that. Random guys all over the place claiming to be SEAL. I'm sure there's guys that claim to be SEALs that aren't. I mean, thinking it'll help them with one. Love chat and dating guys say to let me know if you change your mind when going into no contact to leave the door open. All right, we'll go with that if you want to. I just find that people say that all the time. And they say it repeatedly. And I would just say, for me, just my style, but I don't have, you know what? Don't get hung up on me saying that. I just hear it all the time. Well, I told her, I made sure I told her, if you change your mind, and I just find to me, um, depending on the situation, I would just go, okay, okay, that's acceptance. They might claim that you're bitter and you didn't leave the door open. It depends on what happened, but check out the vids. It's just hilarious. Okay. Um, Ian Dorgan, Coach Mac, I finally met up with my ex, got changed from coffee to a dinner, went well, caught up and enjoyed our time. My question is, how do I move forward? Do you sit and wait now for her to contact me? Good question. I don't want to give you a direct playbook, dude. You know your ex, you know your relationship, you know how it went. Here's what I would tell you not to do. I would tell you not to get anxious. I would tell you not to bring up your past relationship. I would tell you to be in the moment, be present, have a good time, make another date. Um, don't move too fast, is what I would say. And at some point, start to enjoy each other's company again. Those are the things I tell you to do and not to do. But to actually, you know, do I sit and wait for her to contact? I would definitely wouldn't just contact her the next day. I'd wait a couple days, and be casual about it. But I don't know how the date ended. Did she seem um, excited about meeting up again? Involuntary celibate. I never heard that word before. Incel. Thanks for the update, folks. Oh my God. Can someone text Mac and tell him to speed up? He won't see the involuntary celibate for another 10 minutes. Incels have killed more Americans than, oh God. G Money. My take on incels used to slur to make an man and feel inferior for not getting any. I'm trying to catch up here. So if I shorthand you guys, my FBI needs an angry virgin task force. 2455 Rockstar. Followed your advice for months now. X reached out after 60 days of no contact. We've been talking ever since, about 2 weeks now, and she's definitely wanting to get back. Thanks for all you do. Well, right on, Rockstar. Good for you, dude. If you watch enough of my videos, it's not always my intention to get them back, but if that's a fucking nice bonus, and congratulations on your bonus. Didn't Einstein's wife contribute a lot to his work? A lot of these geniuses and published guys and stuff, a lot of them, their wives did contribute a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised. One of the really cool things about Einstein is they say people that practice the violin or an instrument regularly, it's almost like a form of meditation, and they create a different G Money or Rob will know about this for sure, some kind of different brain path, and it becomes a meditation for when they're thinking of a new thing. My son is named after Nikola Tesla. Oh, really? That's pretty cool. Is it Nikola? You don't see a lot of Nikolas either. About Robert Greene's book Mastery, I haven't gotten into it yet. I hope it's worth it. It's a good book. It's a good book if you're looking at what you want to do career-wise. It's a good book. 300cc isn't a big bike. Thanks, Nico. It's very alpha of you. It isn't a big bike by terms of motorcycles and stuff, but this is like a scooter. So they're called Forzas, and they're big bodied scooters is what they are. Just to clarify. Broke up on good terms with a female, 29. I'm 30. Who should message each other first to contact? I don't know your situation, John, so send it in to writemac.com. Hey, Mac, you said ideally no contact is best for my situation, but you said reaching out wouldn't be a terrible idea when better state of mind. Is it fine then to reach out if she hasn't? Based on what I told you, I'm saying if you get to a point in a month or two and you're doing really well and you feel like you want to reach out, I'm okay with that, but just know the consequences. That she could give you a negative response. Are you okay with that? In the meantime, do your archery, do your hiking, do all those things, and hopefully you let go of the fact, should I contact her, should I not? Because I think the best place to be is to stay in no contact. Now, the reason why I tell people sometimes it's okay in a month or 2 months to contact them, because your brain works in a certain way where it goes, if I tell you you can't do something, it fucks with you. Right? It makes you go, why can't I do that? I can do that if I want to. So I'd rather you have a little bit of an open mind right now and go, you know what, in a month, if I'm feeling it, I'll contact her. It's okay. But right now, where you're at now, it sounds like you're not ready for a variety of reasons, and you know that, and you're doing really well. So give yourself another 30 days, 3 weeks, reassess things, and keep doing your thing. And then maybe in 3 weeks or a month, you meet someone else, or you go, you know what, I don't need to contact her actually. So leave that door open for your mind to not be feeling like you're going against a brick wall. Doors were left open. I leveled up as is. Man, been reading books, bought a second house, been working out, dating other girls, not attached to one. However, something I like about her than others. Well, good for you, John. Good for you. That's outstanding. You bought another house too? That's attractive. Good for you. You leveled up. Haven't seen here in 5 months. She wished me a happy birthday. That's a big one for people about happy birthdays. My whole chat stopped, no scroll for a good 3 minutes. Sorry. I don't know that even see it as a beta. Both men and women have a mix of both masculine and feminine traits. I agree. To connect on an emotional and spiritual level, in addition to physical, it's a plus. I mean, look at the things that make people cry, right? I'm an extremely empathetic, compassionate person for people in their breakups. And overall, I'm a teacher. I'm a coach. I do these things. I'm not a big crier, but there are certain things that can get me, but I don't cry often. So that people just react to things differently, where a grown man who's a rugby player, who's 6'5" and masculine as hell, could cry at the, of a wounded cat or something. People are different, right? Darth Slasher, why do women bail on relationships when things get difficult? Not all women do this. You're just generalizing, so don't do that. There must be a particular woman that did it to you, and so you're thinking all women do this. I don't think that's true of all. My ex-girlfriend had external factors not directly related to our relationship. Well, external factors affect your relationship, and people start to layer them into your relationship, and then they make it one problem. But sometimes they have to break up to take things apart and figure out the rest of their life, and that's timing and circumstance, and that's not on you, and you have to realize that. You have to let them be. Yeah, she said next time she's in a town, we should meet up and spend more time together in the day. I don't want to come off as needy, laugh out loud, and trying to play it cool. Well, don't try to play it cool. Play it fucking cool. You know what I'm saying? Don't oh, I'm going to try to play it cool. Da, da, da. Don't try. Do it. Keep yourself busy for a day or two and then go. Yeah, give yourself a few days till you reach out, or leave it alone. If you had a really good date, maybe leave it alone for longer than a few days. Darth Slasher, they bail because women have almost unlimited options in terms of back to that, Ian, too. Don't get caught up in wrong or right. Okay. Don't overthink things. Lead with good intentions and honesty in yourself. Okay. But because there's so much information out there, everyone thinks that there's a right and a wrong. It's better to take some kind of an action, some kind of commitment. You had a good date. Don't get overly excited. Don't get overly anxious. As I think it's that guy in alpha male strategies. Sit your little hot ass down. Sit your little hot ass down. Just relax yourself, he says. Just relax. Don't get too excited. Darth Slasher, they bail because women have almost unlimited options in terms of who they get with. If you had a backup Ferrari, you wouldn't be upset if you lost your Lamborghini. Yeah, sweet post, G-Money. It's true. Well, I just saw some Ferraris at a mall over here. That's a beautiful car. I'm not a big car person. I like older cars. I like 1960s classic cars. But where do you get your insights? You're awesome. Look at G Money. Get some sleep, Tommy. Judy Jack Burton, have a lot of insights too. Geez, I think I need this whole cast of characters in my phone. Well, we're gonna do a Thailand retreat possibly if I map it out for you guys. No, Numan Ali, no contact from both sides for more than a month. Is it over for good? Who knows? How do I know? I don't know anything about your story, so I need to know your story. The fact that you're asking that means that you need to stay in no contact longer and continue moving forward. No, she had to insult me on top of my breakup, so I contacted her. All right, to tell her I was with another chick right before I drove to see her with no time to shower. Class act, dude. People feel entitled that they deserve the absolute best. So when they feel like they aren't getting the absolute best, They cut cords, but that's not how relationships work. You know what, G Money? I've found that some people don't think they deserve the absolute best. There's some people that get into relationships, and if it's too good, they run because they just think when the other foot's going to drop. Thank you, coach. She broke up and said she wasn't ready for a relationship. I got caught in texting trap, rushed the relationship, moved it too fast. So I worked on myself. I miss her. No contact is hard. Well, you learned something. It sounds like you connected the dots. I'm not 6'5" though, 6 foot even. I'm a grown man. Rugby player pulled a muscle in my face somehow playing this weekend. That's weird. I'm not 6'5" though. I'm 6 foot even. Well, I'm 6 foot even also. That's a condition issue that I see in a lot of people. It's automatic. Whatever. I was willing to walk. She had to bait me back just to trash me. Well, you took the bait, right? Take some responsibility and accountability for that. Sweet, that clarifies if so much. Funny enough, past relationships, I always did no contact from instinct. All my exes reached out, even the person I dated 5 years, but I didn't want anything by that point. Good for you, Juan. You had some instincts. You had pride. No, if a woman sees you as the one, she will never bail. She may appear to at times, but it's an illusion. Space apart sometimes takes pressure off and allows the individual growth, but she trusts. Right on, Judy Jack, to get back on deck. Lakers Clippers is official. I'm loving that the NBA's back on deck. Judy, there is Kawhi comes through. Kawhi's a baller. Great temperament. Went to San Diego State. Judy, there is no the one. Commitment has a definition. Either people are committed or they aren't, but I'm very black and white thinker. Yeah, you are. Seeing old boy, a little bird. Hey, little bird. Remember Dumb and Dumber with the little bird? Seeing old boyfriend of 5 year after 20 years, neither ready for commitment. He's calling me daily. I haven't heard from him in 5 days. I'm in no contact. Me 54, he's 60. Do men get scared and back off? Sure they do. Sure they do. It sounds like you guys got a lot of history, but you got a lot of life experience at your age, and you should know what you want. So be upfront and honest, I would say. Lead with good intentions also, little bird. If you've been in no contact for 5 months, would you continue contact or wait until she reached out, even if relationship ended on good terms? If you're in 5 months, continue on the 5 months. You got nice pearly whites. My teeth? It's the light, I think, too. It helps. Someone asked me before that if I was whitening my teeth. Nope. Isn't that like imposter syndrome when the person feels inadequate? I haven't heard of imposter syndrome, but it could be. I've never been in the West Coast. It seems like a different nation almost. Compared to Pittsburgh, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, when you live in different cities, have you lived in the same city your whole life, Nico? Have you always lived in Pittsburgh? How old are you, Nico? But you live in a different city. It can feel like a totally different place. There's subcultures within cities that really are different. OMG. I know I get it on you guys about sports, but Houston Astros versus Washington Nationals. I don't watch baseball that much anymore unless the Giants are playing. Our pets' heads are falling off. Ali, social media is making men and women flaky. What's up, Coach Glenn Byrne? Top of the day, top of the morning to you. Lad. Old Irishman. Young Irishman at that, right? There's only the one until you've evolved and recognized them at a soul level. He's just intense, like no feelings. I mean, I know he has feelings, but so soft. Hope you're doing great, man. Yes, and don't judge me. That's why I call him my situation. What is happening? It's all good in the hood. Yeah, that can happen with some military guys. They've become decentralized to certain emotions. 31. I've been all over the East Coast, Appalachia, mild West. Okay. You're seasoned, bud. Just not the West Coast. Okay. Glenn Byrne, I'm good. Just enjoying the stream. Currently 6 a.m. in Ireland. Wow. Up early, huh? Having a cup of tea, are you? I used to have a neighbor in San Diego that was from Ireland. What a character, man. McPhillips, Dave McPhillips. He would show. It's so funny because in America, we would go. He was a little bit older. He was in his early 30s, and we were all in our early 20s, mid 20s. I was in my early 20s in this apartment complex, and we go to like a college party, and people are just like, "Are you really from Ireland?" Oh my god, he was like the life of the party. Just the accent alone. Oh god, just the accent alone. It was like walking around with a celebrity. Yeah, it was funny. Someone I just met someone recently, and it was like a friend of a friend, and we're introducing each other. And someone was like, "Oh, where are you from?" And then I said, California." He's like, "I thought you were Irish." I go, "I'm a McCarthy, but I definitely didn't live in Ireland." He goes, "Your accent." Yeah, the accent can be funny sometimes. All right, I like it. It's cool. Well, Irish people, we can always talk. We could talk, right? Maybe that's where I get it from. That's what Irish people are known for: good banter, right? Guinness all day. Wish I could drink it all the time. You like Guinness, G Money? If he goes into the woods on his hunting property and stays for days just to get his sense of self and recenter, he has geospatial company and owns a couple franchises. Always business. What? I play rugby with a dude from Ireland. He's 41 and still one of the best players. All right, Nico. This the Rugby World Cup. I watched a few games for that. It's been good. A couple of my buddies are from New Zealand, so it's easy to watch the All Blacks as they seem to always win. Um, got a cat out here looking a little mangy on my deck. Never drink with an Irishman and they'll embarrass you. That's funny. I've seen the type before. It's kind of like those characteristics. Fensworth, Nico, that is great, man. Ireland has a great team. Yeah, the All Blacks are good, man. No, you got a good squad. You got a team, man. You got a good team. I mean, I don't play rugby regularly, so I'm, even an amateur fan at that, but I enjoy watching the game. I got I had a Polynesian brother-in-law, so they all do rugby all the time. When I asked why he is emotionally distancing Gamecraft, he said he does not know why and not sure what he feels. I dumped him because of that. He is not sure. I've been in no contact radio silence. If you dump the other person and you go into no contact hoping that they come back after you dump them, sometimes I don't. What do you really want? To dump them and then have them come back pitiful and weak? During the breakup, you should be very crystal clear why you're breaking up with them, um, and then maybe like maybe we can work this out in the future if you fix this, this, and this. Hopefully, next World Cup will be in the win, man. Australia and the All Blacks upset for a few months back. Check out the highlight reel. Yeah, I've seen that. I follow the Toronto Wolfpack. You mentioned that before, Rob. Yeah, got to bounce, man. Heading to work. So take it easy. Take it easy, Coach Glenn. I wish you all the best, bud. Money, you're judging me, aren't you? Sigh of my life. All right. Any closing questions? This has been good, folks. Hour and 18 minutes. Any closing questions? We had a nice crew today. Thanks for the likes. I really appreciate it. Fun draw. If he's messing around with another man's wife, he's a snake and no moral compass. A smart person would stay away. Little bird, if you need to send your story in, hun, feel free to do so, even if it's Scotty Fitzgerald. Like I said, that's an Irish name. Isn't Fitzgerald Irish? I always think of the casinos in Fitzgerald's, I think in Tahoe. Like I said, black and white thinker. G Money's, yeah. I mean, saying that, G Money's got his opinion. He's got his morals, and he said like his no moral compass, right? I mean, that's where karma comes in, right? He should not be with another man's wife. There's a lot of crazy situations out there, folks. There's a lot of little nuances to it that I've come across where you're like, it's not just black and white in every situation. But I respect people that think that way because they're very clear on their values. Um, yeah, it's Irish. I'm from England, though. How's that work? Aren't you from Ireland but live in England? I told him why I broke up and care about him a lot, and he answered that he does not know what he feels. Well, leave it alone then. Give it some time and space is my suggestion in Gamecraft. G Money, if you think he's a snake, really? Dang, what's that make me then? Life is complicated. Well, you fight your own battles. If you want to get opinions from everyone, they're all going to give you different ones. Someone would say, "Oh, I don't see a problem with it because you're not happy in your relationship." G Money saying that's his moral compass doesn't line up with that. What I would say is, if you wanted my opinion, where's this headed long term, right? What's the consequences of doing something like this? Who's going to possibly get hurt? And how do you really feel about yourself doing this, right? Because it's one of those situations where if you're old enough and you have enough life experience, sometimes you got to, touch the stove to get burned to not do something like that again. But are you leading with good intentions? Is this something that you could see long term, or worst case scenario, if someone finds out, are you really going to hurt yourself, not just the other individual? Sometimes a man cannot differentiate his flawed moral compass from that one that is honorable. True. Not my my granddad was Irish. So was mine. McCarthy. Little McCarthy. Mr. McCarthy. The flawed moral compass, once enforced, can become one's truth. Ooh. People make life more complicated than it needs to be. Best to try and make things as easy as possible through our actions. Good point. Those living a lie within an immoral compass of judgment. My ex broke up with me, said she's not in love with me, but loves me, but now is playing games with me, saying we need space. Well, where's your power, breed love? Are you going to sit around and let them dictate what they want, what they feel? Or are you going to say, you know what, I'm going to take the bull by the balls and live my life and move forward as an individual and try to regain some confidence and get back on fucking deck? Don't be a victim. They say they're not in love with you anymore. That hurts. That's tough. I'm not saying that's easy. And then if they say they start playing games from then on to try to keep you in their orbit as a second option, you need to be aware of that. Okay, well, I don't drink, but you guys are giving me some shots of truth. Ooh, I like that. I haven't heard that term before. True values guide you. Nuances happen on their own. Good point, Judy Jack. You got to allow for a little nuance. It is, in my book, it isn't always black and white. Hearing your story and how you're looking at it, there's little bits and pieces that it isn't always like that. Well, I'm off too. Great live stream, Coach Max. Seriously, thank you for your help. Lots of weight lifted off my shoulders today. That's outstanding, Juan. I appreciate you telling me that. It makes me feel good also. Truth is never for a debate. The truth will set you free. Plus, the truth is never up for debate. That's deep. Well, that's the thing. I'm happy in my relationship. Our connection is insane. Not like we're out here looking for it. Okay, to each their own. To each their own. I finally caught up. This is a good problem to have. So like I said, probably tomorrow I'll do another one about the same time. But next week I'll be on California time, so we'll have a little bit different times. All the things I did that led to the end of the relationship were times where I ignored my moral code. Good point, dude. I think that one of the real simple ones, G Money, the book, The Four Agreements. That has some good morals and principles to follow. Never take anything personal. Be impeccable with your word. Always do your best. What's the fourth one? For me, what I've come back to, not you guys like the where's your power, but I always go, am I leading into this with good intentions? Do I have good intentions for the other individual and myself? Is this a win-win? Mac, what time do you usually do your live streams? Between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Phuket time, Indochina time. So about 2 hours prior to right now, whatever time that is for you, Scotty Fitzgerald. You haven't heard the term because I just made it up, Mac. I've heard it a couple times. I'll try to find the relationship thing in the rational male. It was difficult looking forward to listening to the stream. Oh, that's all right. If you find it, don't, if you can share it, Juan, good for you. Oh, 6:23 a.m. Well, there you go, bud. So generally, I do one about 2 hours prior to this time, if not an hour prior to this time. So yeah, a lot of the people that are in Europe that I've done coaching with and whatnot have said that they usually miss it unless I come on in the afternoon. Hey, Rob, relationship dynamics will differ between the time period and culture. Good point. They do. Always changing. Basic relationship rules come from basic moral codes. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Yeah, that's the simple way, right? I agree with most. Rollo Tomasi about 97%. One of the things about treating others the way you want to be treated, be able to accept the fact that they're not always going to treat you the way you want to be treated, and be able to let that go. Don't take it personal. Yeah, I understand. Another set of eyes might clear it up. Maybe I understood it. True enough. Little Bird, not up on social media. No contact to me means no contact. And I placed him on the not active of Facebook. He never posted on Facebook. But posted silly video meant for me. I didn't respond. Did I mess up? Little Bird, send in your full story to writemac.com is my suggestion. And I'll give you my take on a public YouTube video or a private one if you want that. Kidding, but you guys are giving it to me straight. I need that. I can't talk to anyone about it. People automatically judge you. And it's a very isolating position to be in. Well, if you ever want to send in your full story, I don't know if you have already. I won't be shared your name or anything. Maybe you want me to unpack it in a video. Fun sawa. People send me stories that aren't always directly breakups. Sometimes they're issues. And if you want to just get my take on it, happy to do that and share it as extra content on the channel, which is good for everyone. I think it's been good. It's been really good. God, it looks like it's one of those days. It's like off and on storming, but when it storms here, it's still warm. We are burning the midnight oil to get after the knowledge bomb stream tonight. Thanks, friends. Got it. Thanks. Little Bird McCoy from Ireland. Oh, you're from Ireland also. Nice. I'm in DC. DC. You like DC? It's supposed to be very expensive to live there, but you got a good economy. There's always a lot of jobs, right? Always a pleasure to speak with the legendary G Money. G Money's got to get his own live stream here, dude. You huh? You teaching martial arts, G Money? Are you doing that? Are you teaching a class? I've noticed you have a lot of following here in Europe. Really? Like people in Europe are talking about the channel and stuff in England? Good, man. Sweet, bud. Yeah, man. Anything where you're coaching or teaching, I think is great, bro. You know, you interact with people like that on that level, and whatever's the fact that I don't know if you're teaching karate or jiu-jitsu. Someone was just telling me, Matt A, who comes on here, said he did Japanese jiu-jitsu. That's much different than, say, Gracie. I don't know about this stuff. Oh, thanks, but I take that as a compliment coming from you. But charitable work, which is coaching and teaching, because you don't usually get paid a lot. It's really rewarding. I like this. Doing this for as long as I've done it, it's highly rewarding. Highly rewarding. Yeah, because G Money, you're still in your early 20s, aren't you? If I'm correct, you're like 23, 25. You're a young ski, dude. It's funny that I can imagine your job is it is rewarding. Yeah, it is. This is funny when you get someone that writes you back a really nice email that they say that they really appreciated the coaching session, and they say some really nice things. I'll actually share that with a friend or someone else because I feel good about it. I'm not above that. I feel really good about that. It's rewarding. It's good because when you start to think that you're doing good things and good work and helping people out, it's just highly rewarding. It is. And like I said to G Money, like if he's doing teaching or something like that and he sees a kid get better at martial arts or something, it's just rewarding. And one of the biggest problems with the Western world right now and overall is everyone's out for themselves. Everyone's highly selfish. And that's a big theme. And that's why people are really unhappy with their lives. This is the book I've mentioned before, and I'll close it. I really like this book. Great audiobook, by the way. But he talks, it's a short read. Sebastian Younger is actually White Squall, if you ever heard of that book, which is fictional. He wrote that. Great book. Yeah, it's cool, man. Sebastian Younger, because there's another book called Tribe by Seth Godin. It's different. But there's a chapter on this about how the Native Americans lived and in relation to when not Americans, but when the Europeans came over and did their thing. It's really interesting that how much when they were held captive by Indian tribes, they didn't want to leave because they loved the way society had no class system and that they had a lot of free time. Sorry, Dylan, I'm just on my way out, dude. And Brian, good to hear from you. I didn't, you just came in a little bit late. Maybe you were listening, bud, because you're usually a regular. I appreciate that. Little Bird says you give the best advice. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks, Little Bird. Little Bird. Yeah, Dylan's. Any food left at the table, Mom? No, you're too late, dude. Yeah, I've been on an hour and a half. I got to go eat. I've been having lighter breakfasts recently. Breakfasts? Yeah, it was good. I enjoy this, guys. I really enjoy the dynamic we have going here, and it's nice. Just got back from NLP seminar in London. NLP is something that's not talked about a lot, but a lot of coaches use it. I've watched a lot of videos on it. Some of the methods and different things are highly useful. You know what NLP is? Neuro-linguistic programming. It's what Tony Robbins is trained in. It's what Corey Wayne's trained in. They use that stuff. Yeah, NLP. If you want to go down a rabbit hole with that, there's a ton of stuff on YouTube. And I know NLP is big in neuro-linguistic programming. Yeah, it's a big thing, dude. They do seminars here in Thailand for it. It's international. F this, man. I'm going sorry, but I really ain't in a good mood. Well, I hope you feel better later on, Dylan. You're good people. G Money needs a podcast. Go for it, dude. Cincinnati's finest. Might be a podcast of a serious discussion. We'll unpack everything. Oh, I can fuck, dude. You get me in a discussion about something. Look at me in a live stream, right? I just went on Rob. I missed you. I caught the tail end of Kyle's Masculine Energy is the name of his channel, but I went on his live stream and I caught the last 30 or 40 minutes, and you were on earlier, so you weren't on when I was on. But Sabina came on, I think, and we were chatting back and forth. What got you into coaching? Honestly, the vision wasn't just coaching to help people with their breakups and to do it with story based, very simply, by you telling me your story, and then I'll give you my take. So, and I was primarily focused on just helping people with breakups. So I was a little bit using the word coach. I wasn't sure because I just wanted to use break. I don't want to be a life coach, but some of this stuff comes up about other parts of your life. And I just think a breakup's a turning point for a lot of people. I've been there before. I'm well read on it, and I'm compassionate and empathetic. So I said, let's go into it and let me let all these people send me their stories and see where we can go from there. And it kind of built from there. Please come on later though, Mac. I've died of boredom without these live streams. Okay. It was Kyle's. I went on 2 or 3 days ago, and it was actually, he stayed on pretty late. Dylan, did you hit the ball next to the subscribe button on Mac's channel? There's only a few streams on YouTube to deal with that sort of topics. High question. Chris Pena. Ex-boyfriend broke up with me 6 months. 2 months, no contact. Does no contact work better on a male dumper or female? It depends on your situation. Send your story to Right Mac. I don't know your situation. Your situation is what decides whether it works or it doesn't work. Overall, no contacts to get your confidence back as an individual. I hear usually when females break up, it's usually they're done. I don't know about male dumper. You're throwing me off here, Chris, with the name Chris and saying male, female, because I would assume that you're a male also. But there can be women named Chris, right? I wouldn't say that's absolutely true, Chris. I wouldn't say that's absolutely true. Christina, maybe. I wouldn't say that's absolutely true. That's a generalization. Send your story in, Chris, to writemac.com, and I'll give you my take in a public YouTube video anonymously. But I need to know the story. So I know that's kind of a broken record, but I think a lot of people would agree. Yeah, put that book. I think it's just a good overall book. It's not a relationship book, but it's a society book. I think it was impressive. I learned about it from the Tim Ferriss podcast, and the author is on Tim Ferriss one day. He's great. Yeah, you need details to get good advice. I mean, I could give you general advice all day, but I don't think it's useful without knowing your story, what story you're telling yourself. It used to be talked about in late 90s and early 2000s. What was that? What used to be talked about? Oh, NLP? I only learned about it maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Like I said, Tony Robbins never talks about it, but that's his training. Yeah. Well, and with YouTube now, there's people that break down you used to have to go to seminars and different things like that. And if you go to those, I'm sure they're still useful, but there's a lot of live seminars on YouTube that share a lot of information about NLP that's highly interesting and useful. Also, Matt, quick question. Do you ever wish you could get back with an ex because you really love and miss them, not just because you're lonely and desperately want someone? No. Short answer. For me, I think probably that ex I always talk about like 10 years ago, I probably like the first 3 to 6 months, maybe I thought that way. Yeah, I probably had that. It was so long ago though. But since then, no. I have a lot of Tony Robbins books. Well, I used to. I should revisit them actually. Awake the Sleeping Giant's an old classic that's highly useful for someone just entering into self-improvement and realizing, taking responsibility for your actions, stuff like that. All right, I got to roll. I'm starting to feel I had coffee, not enough water. Starts to get to the eyes a little bit. There's a lot of energy in talking, right? Judy Jack, G Money, Fun Sawa, Rob IS, always a pleasure. Dylan, the Tasmanian genius. Scotty Fitzgerald, representing England well. Judy Jack, Southern Cali's finest. Brian Union just came in for a quick drop. Little Bird, wish you all the best. Hope to see your story. Anyone else I missed here? Coach Glenn. Yeah, we're good. This was good, folks. All the best. Thumbs up the video. Okay, cool. Thanks. I appreciate it, folks. Curtains.